gosh. Muffin's experience has a level of time. The little spikes can take extra damage.
But he makes it through.
Wow. Save anywhere for it.
Oh! Muffin! Oh, Wilson! Wilson!
What are you doing? No, what are you doing?
No, still. Oh, reach! Oh, I'm saving him again! Guys, I hope he remembers that top left keystone, because that's dash, that's huge.
Oh, he forgot it! He doesn't remember. Oh, no.
Hello everybody and welcome to our first match of the day in the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament 2018. This will be a semi-final match versus the team Half the Baguette and the team Skillless. And on commentary, my name is Sparik and this race will be brought to you by me and Vulajin. Hello Vulajin.
Good morning, Spark. We've got quite a matchup here today. We are already in the second to last round of our doubles bracket here, and this is a doozy. These two teams, Half the Baguette and Skillless, have some of the best randomizer players in the world. No understatement there.
Yeah, they are really good at this game. Like not only at the randomizer, but at the game itself. So I can't even say who's gonna win. It can really be any one of them. Now it is of course a best of 3. So no matter who wins the first game, we will see a second game today. Maybe even a third one later on.
Man, that would be something. So on the top side there on our bracket, you can see we've got Half the Baguette. That is the team of LostDedew and Covert Muffin. Again, these are two of the top players in the world, but they're facing off against Skillless, which consists of Meldon, the tournament organizer, and Roryrai, who is also one of the most experienced randomizer players. And of course, all these players, incredibly skilled, all have very good times in various speedrun categories of this game. So we're going to see some really good stuff on both sides, both the top and the bottom here. We're already seeing some good stuff on the top, Spark.
Yeah, Team Half the Baguette likes to give us this very, very nice cutscene, maybe. Not really sure. It's a rather sad cutscene, actually, but they like to do that before the start of the race. Like, this community can be memeing sometimes. Anyway, we're starting with the race right now. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of seed we are going to get here at first. Like, I think we've seen almost every kind of seed in the tournament now. So what do you think we will get?
I would be expecting to just see a keystone. I would agree with you that we've seen every kind of seed so far, but man, I saw something last night that somebody else played through that was just absolutely heinous, that I was shocked that it was even possible. But fortunately, we haven't seen anything of that level of heinousness, and we have seen some really bad ones. This one just starts with a Mapstone, Spark.
Yeah, Mapstone is pretty casual. We can put that in Mapstone pedestal, maybe in Glades later, though we would need 2 keystones for that. But there's already the first keystone on the XP pickup, and then there are 2 more pickups left. So I think it's pretty likely that there will be another keystone. And then they can put in the Mapstone and also get some other pickups. So pretty casual start so far.
Yeah, and not likely to allow much opportunity to split up. Of course, this is the doubles mode. And in doubles, the main thing going on here is that you're playing on a team with a partner. And when you find something in your seed, you have the opportunity to tell your partner, hey, FYI, such and such thing is in such and such place. And that's mainly the way that you kind of go about making the seed as fast as possible for both you and your partner. And the fastest average time of either team wins the race. There's that second keystone showing up at the next pickup there for Muffin first, and everyone else slightly after him. So everyone will be able to continue left through that door, and it's a third keystone beyond that Spark, so we are going to just head into Glades.
Yeah, I can't really split up right now. The fake flippers pickup is just some experience. No runner also take it, but Roryrai does actually on the bottom left, and then he takes a death to the spikes that look pretty intentional in order to get back to the save that he had.
Actually, I like
he
that.
didn't want to keep the XP after all.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. Just alt-R immediately with that XP, just in case it's something, because you don't always have time to react to it. And then if it is, it turns out you actually don't need it. Just walk to the right from the start, and there's a helpful little bed of spikes there, some of which deal 2 damage to kill you off. So clever play by Rory. We're finding some more interesting things. Grove Teleporter coming off that first mapstone. Wall Jump coming off the keystone next to it. This actually might be the time we might see people immediately start splitting up. And I'm guessing we are going to see that from the top. Yeah, Muffin's going to go to the wall jump loop up here while Dedew will go to the wall jump tree itself. It looks like Skillless may do the same split up here. No, they're going to stick together.
Okay, so just one small split up so far from half the baguette. Now, I see on the top right that Muffin already has enough keystones to make it to Spirit Caverns, so maybe he will continue up through there, whereas Dedew will maybe make his way to Blackwood Burrows in order to just split up a little bit more. But just as I say that Muffin is taking the wall jumps tree.
Yeah, and Muffin is going to be picking up Charge Flame from this tree, as Meldon and Rory will do in just a little bit. Dedew just claimed that a minute ago, so he is heading down towards the teleporter. We'll see whether he's going to choose to follow that teleporter or go into BRB, but I would be very unsurprised to see this BRB play that he is making. So there's Muffin's Charge Flame. Dedew is going to do his cutscene skip on the top left to get into Blackroot Burrows, and Meldon and Rory both arriving at wall jump at about the same time. We'll see how they choose to split up or not in this next little bit here.
Now with Grove TP, there's quite a few options open actually to split up. Like you can even go to Valley Entry right now. And then the whole of Spirit Caverns, there's Blackwood Burrows, of course. And I think you could also go all the way around to Grotto, just through the Spider Stack area. So there's lots of things they could do now in terms of routing.
Yeah, that wall jump Charge Flame combo is a very versatile combo. It's actually kind of an annoying one sometimes because it gives you access to so much of the right side of the map that it kind of represents a very common and limiting combination. But now we're already seeing that they're not going to be limited for very long, because Muffin claims double jump from the Charge Flame tree area plant, and Dedew, meanwhile, got climb from the All Skills XP in Blackroot Burrows. So they're going to have a lot more options in their near future here.
So the synchronized skill pickup, I imagine both of them shouting their skill at the same time at the other runner.
Well, this is interesting, actually, Spark. So Dedew turns back now, having gotten climb, and he's actually going to go get double jump that Muffin just told him about. Kind of like this play, just get that extra capability a little bit.
Double jump is just so nice to have, and it's really not too far for Dedew to go. And he also needs the Charge Flame tree, so it's not really like wasted time for him. And yeah, double jump makes so many things so much easier. Like, for example, the Grotto play, there are lots more pickups available with double jump, so he would want to have that before he gets to Grotto.
So Meldon in the bottom right, just skipping his Spirit Tree cutscene. So he's going to take the Charge Flame tree from the top, and in doing so, he will be getting double jump for his team pretty shortly, as Rory's falling into BRB. He just claimed climb a few moments ago. Dedew finally returning in, having gotten double jump. He had the opportunity to go get that, whereas Rory will probably not until he finishes BRB. And we're seeing that Spirit Caverns check for Muffin, but didn't look like there was anything valuable there.
Nah, didn't look like it. So I would expect further progression to show up somewhere on the right side, like in Grotto or the Swamp Loop. Pretty much every pickup is available now. Like they have means to break the plants. They can reach pretty much everything with double jump and wall jump. So I think there's also not too much opportunities to split up for that, because their only real way to make it to the right side would be to go through the Spider Sack area. And they would probably want to have Blackwood Burrows cleared before that. Just for the tree.
We'll see if they end up finding something like a Mega Energy so that they can at least take 2 different routes to get in there. But for right now, you're correct. There's no way over to that side other than taking the long route through the Spider Sack area. What both teams might want to do is at least get someone over there before the other person, so that they have the opportunity, at least, as wow, Muffin is getting absolutely bodied by Slime trying to get that climb XP. Wow, that's a big death. And meanwhile, Rory finds Glide in the map stone next to the dash tree, as does Dedew now.
So lots of skills early on. Glide is always nice to have just for the Sorrow traversal. This is the shards mode, so it's not like there's only one key in Sorrow, but at the same time there could be lots of shards in Sorrow. We have seen seeds where there were 3 shards just in the Spy Cave, I think. So it can happen, and for something like that, it is very nice to already know where Glide is, and it's pretty accessible for all of these runners at this time. And wow,
Yeah.
okay, on the top left there, Dedew is setting up Froggy Walk. Now he has 2 energy, so this will be enough in order to sequence break into the Death Gauntlet area.
This, I think, is exactly what both teams wanted, basically. Some alternative way of getting to the right side of the map other than having to go all the way around. In the bottom left, while Dedew is doing this, we saw a dash plant check from Rory, but it didn't turn up anything useful. So Dedew is nearly there with his Frankie, and Muffin, meanwhile, is going to take that Grove Teleporter. And so he's going to be doing these Valley Entry checks and so on, while Dedew is into the Death Gauntlet. And
now the Death Gauntlet is an area which we have not seen yet. It's not been checked by any runner so far. Whereas the Valley Entry, we know there's pretty much nothing there, I think. Has been checked by Rory, I seem to recall. But yeah, where's, like, we don't need clues. It's the shards mode. And we haven't found any shard yet. I wonder where all of them are.
Probably all in Horu. Just all of them. Including the Sunstone shards, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fortunately, that's impossible for our runners, so they will be able to finish this seed. Meanwhile, Muffin heading back to skip his Spirit Tree cutscene. We have Dedew, meanwhile, dropping into Gumo's hideout. He's going to go ahead and glitch the bridge cutscene here, so he will be able to collect the water vein on his first drop in, and it is energy regen. That's useful in some way.
Not really, though. Like, health regen would give you basically an extra health, but energy regen, it's just so slow. It's not really worth it. Now, on the top right, Muffin seems to be trying to get up this tree with a rather difficult sequence of double jumps. It looks like he's actually made it. So we'll check this pickup, which is just warm confirmed.
Oh gosh, I just seen Meldon pick that up a few moments ago, so as Muffin was doing that, I was just like, oh yes.
So rewarding.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh man, that jump is you don't actually need to do that, but it's a little bit faster than going and then lowering the right side platform with the levers, so Muffin wanted to save a little bit of time on that. We've got Meldon. He's already traversed a lot of this area as it is, and he has not really found anything of value. I haven't seen any shards. Looks like there was a Gumon Steel shard along the way. We were told that was at the Spider Sack Energy Cell. Meanwhile, Rory in his navigation of the Raziel No area, he didn't find anything as far as I saw. And Dedew is working on lower Gumar's hideout, but again, still nothing. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he wants to save in order to actually be able to get that. Can he get out fast enough, though, is the question.
Oh man, he had to drop multiple saves.
Okay.
And he's got health regen sparks, so that's enough.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning, that health regen is actually useful. So now Dedew has dash, which will make him go very fast. I expect Muffin to actually pick that skill up pretty soon when he makes his way to Grotto.
Yeah, he's going to beeline that for sure. Rory is going to check out Valley Entry, which I don't believe Meldon has poked at just yet. So he'll get a little bit of new information from his team. As we know, there's not actually anything there. It will be a little while before Skillless is going to pick up that dash since, again, you know, Rory, he just hasn't ended up with a way to Frankie Walker or get anywhere else to the right side of the map. So he's going to have to do the same Spider Sack area check. While navigation, that is, while Meldon is going to get there eventually, but it'll just take some time.
So at least he does not need to check these pickups in Spider Sack area, but it's definitely little bit slower than sequence breaking through to the death gauntlet. Now on the top left, we see a mini boss check by Dedew. He has checked pretty much every pickup he can check down here in Grotto at this point. He has not checked the Grotto Vault because he did not have enough energy to do so.
That's a nice pickup for Meldon, the bottom right, finding Bash at the plant in the mortar area. So that's a pretty key skill that I would not be at all surprised to see Muffin head pretty much directly in that area, because Dedew basically already has the Grotto checks on lock. Not really a lot of need for Muffin to follow him down just yet, other than to get Dash, but it does look like Muffin's going to go there first. But this is double spark, so the nice thing about doubles is there's not a likelihood that they're just not going to check an area like Outer Swamp, so they will get Bash eventually. It's just, when are they going to head there?
Well, the thing is, Muffin probably wants to have Dash, so that's probably why he's doing Grotto at this point. And then maybe since Dedew has already checked so many areas in Grotto, he will actually get the Bash skill first. But as you said, Fullergen, they will definitely check that. Like, they still haven't found any shard that they need, so they will definitely keep looking for them. And with Bash, they could technically make the Valley play.
That is true. There's a nice little sequence break you can do to break into Valley proper using Dash. There's also a nice little sequence break you can do to break into Swamp proper using Bash. So Meldon is going to go ahead and do that. He's just going to go ahead and check Swamp. Pretty reasonable play since he has a ton of skills already. Both teams doing pretty well on skills, with the advantage of Grenade now and Dash for team Half the Baguette, finding Grenade at the double jump tree, and Dedew immediately takes that and checks the grenade tree located near spawn area, but it doesn't actually have anything. But he'll be able to check quite a few things actually with that grenade now.
Can he check all of Lost Grove, like, apart from the swim now?
Did he just undo his door glitch? I'm not... Okay,
no.
he redid it. Hadn't he already been there, or had he not? No, he hadn't.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I'm confusing him with Rory. Rory did this. Dedew did.
So it looks like Team Half the Baguette does not know what is in the boulder escape area, which I think it was nothing, so not too important, but Dedew could choose to get to grenade tree area after that, so it's not like he's losing time by going here, really.
Indeed. He finds the same not particularly valuable stuff that Rory found here earlier. It's a covert Muffin following his teammate directly to that double jump tree, which is going to get him grenade. And meanwhile, from the stomp tree on Meldon's side, he got the Sorrow teleporter, which is a pretty nice find. It's not going to do anything for him yet because he's lacking stomp and charge jump, which one of those two is absolutely required to get out from the teleporter. But if he does find those, that is going to be very, very nice. And Rory, for his part, in the bottom left, you'll be heading to the Outer Swamp area, doing a few extra checks, and also picking up Bash.
Now, I do wonder where Stomp is, of course. For charge jump, I have seen Meldon do a sequence break for the charge jump pickup at the Stomp tree, and that was lots of experience, so I'm expecting charge jump to be hidden rather deep inside the logic, so maybe they would need Stomp in order to put that to use.
Here's another pretty big find for Half the Baguette. Dedew sequence breaking the grenade pickup at spawn there. The other one, the one in the water, that requires some pretty significant damage boosting, considering he only has 4 maximum health right now. And that turned up Wind Restored. So not the most important pickup in the game, but still a pretty valuable one. It'll make some of that traversal of the left side a little bit easier, a few pickups a bit easier as well. And there's that Bash find for Muffin on the top right. So Half the Baguette now caught up on that skill, while skillless, finding themselves skillless with regard to Dash and Grenade.
Oh yeah, they still need to find both of these. They weren't... Like, Dash wasn't Grotto, and Grenade was the double jump tree, so I expect them to get these skills, just like Team Half the Baguette got Bash. but not just now. Again, though, I do wonder where any of these shards are. Like, they're pretty much only digging for shards right now, and they have not found any shards so far, apart from that one Gumonsi shard, which we do not really care about.
Yeah, I have to imagine they're buried on the left side, because we've seen most of the right side. We haven't seen all of the right side. We do have access to BRB via sequence break. It's not the fastest thing, so I would be lower BRB, that is. I would be a little surprised to see either team kind of prioritize that check, but they do have access to it, and maybe they would think, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. But yeah, the left side seems pretty promising right now. Rory checking the lower swamp access area over here, and not finding anything there either.
Now, have they means of going left side even? Like, they can do the Frankie Storm Pack thing, but like anything that would not require them to sequence break at this point?
No, yes, no.
Yeah,
No.
so maybe Stop is actually closer than we think, somewhere around here. Maybe even this pickup that Muffin is about to check, since Wind Restored came up. This energy cell here at Stomp might be.
Did you check another one while Muffin's working on this? Did you check another one that
it is
it
Stomp.
is Stomp. Wow, what a guess. Well, that is big for Team Half the Baguette, and Meldon had gone into Swamp, but he did not pick that up as far as I saw. So that is very interesting, and that may elude them for a while. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world, Spark. They can live without it, but it is a very interesting mess.
They can really use the Sorrow teleporter after that, and since that's on the Storm Tree, Muffin, of course, did not find that. Now he also sequence breaks the charge jump pickup, and then he will also check the grenade pickup down here in Swamp. And Dedew is also making his way into Swamp, so I think he pretty much wants to get Stomp, and then probably both of them are going left side after that.
Yeah, that definitely seems like the obvious play. Ooh, Rory taking a little bit of a death there on the bottom left in Death Gauntlet, but I mean, I guess it's aptly named, but fortunately not a big death. Picking up some keystones. Every runner currently is running on a pretty high number of keystones. And we also just got from map 4, I believe, and it looked like Half the Baguette had already picked this up. His second Gumon Seal Shard. Oh boy, Spark!
Yay. Get hyped. Forlorn is probably where the shards are.
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
they
what a
could get-
weird progression.
They could get 3 Gumon Seal Shards, and then something could be in Forlorn Ruins. Like with Stomp, they can reach that. Without Stomp, they can also reach that, but that's even more painful than like reaching Valley without Stomp.
Well, we're about 20 minutes in, Spark, so let's take stock of the current situation. Pretty big skill advantage for Half the Baguette, and a minor tree advantage as they have gotten the double jump tree. Would you say that this lead is what it appears to be for Half the Baguette, or is there stuff that we're missing here, basically?
Well, if I were missing it, I'm missing it, right? So there's no way for me to know. Like at this point, I think Half the Baguette is a little bit ahead, but at the same time, it's not like we already know they've won the race, because they still need to dig for these shards, and depending on where they are, the lead is actually not too huge. It will kind of depend on when Team Skillers will choose to either sequence break into Valley or then find the Stomp skill. I don't know if Rory has been to Stomp yet, because I don't think that Meldon will revisit Stomp, the swamp area.
Yeah, that's correct, and he has not been back there just yet. That is to say, Rory has not been back there for his team just yet. Dedew checking Sorrow pretty thoroughly. Again, both teams are definitely going to know at this point they are really starved on shards.
New Gumon Seal Shard at Sorrow Tree, right? That's what we call it. Charge Jump Tree. So there's actually 3 Gumon Seal Shards in Logic. Nice. Why? This might actually be the Water Vein Shard, Forlorn, and things like that. Or no, even worse, Sunstone Shards in Forlorn, and then Water Vein Shards in Horu.
Oh boy. Alright, well, Rory picks up Dash now, finally, for Team Skillless. So that'll get Meldon some very, very important information. Meldon with Bash, he has gone all the way back to the Hollow Grove Spirit Tree area, and we're going to see what he's going to find. Meanwhile, Muffin finds the Forlorn teleporter in Lower Blackroot, which he did sequence break his way down into. So, what am I saying? He has Stomp. So he now has access to just go into Forlorn if he wants. Not in logic, but honestly, who cares at this point? They've got every skill but charge jump.
And I think Muffin wants to go to Forlorn. So he would probably actually do that, since it might actually be the right play in this seed. They would probably dig a little bit more before that. But we can see on the upper left side that Dedew is checking all of Sorrow at this point. Now he has Glide, so he can check these pickups. Is he actually leaving Sorrow now? Okay, so he's not checking all the pickups in Sorrow. Maybe just prioritizing some pickups in Valley first.
Yeah, this is not an atypical play to just kind of like head out here and just check these pickups, and hey, what do you know? There's
nice.
a Sunstone Shard.
First Sunstone Shard.
So that's pretty.
Actually, the first shard we have seen in this seed. So
the first shard we care about in this entire
sure.
seed. At 23.5 mark.
Yeah, this is like, normally these shard seeds take a little longer than clue seed on average, I think. But finding the first shard at 23 minutes probably means that this will be a rather long seed. Unless, of course, like every other pickup is another shard now, which could happen.
That could certainly occur. Rory in the bottom left did a very beautiful kill and like final bash on the mini boss in Grotto to make his way over to the platform while the mini boss was dying. That was pretty cool. He's finishing up his complete Grotto check. The one Dedew did, God, I want to say it was 10 full minutes ago at least. Muffin goes ahead to collect Wind Restored, so he can do the left side a little bit more easily. And Rory finishing this up. Meldon did beeline down here instead of continuing into Valley with like a sequence break because of Rory finding Dash. So Skill is finally catching up on that skill progression. They will get Grenade. Unfortunately, they're still going to be short on Stomp, and the jury's out when they're going to even find that. Without Clean Water, and at this point in the race, Spark, I would be a little surprised to see them go out of their way for that Grenade pool at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, like... So Rory has not visited the Storm area yet, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so he might find Stomp then. But if they were to not find that, that would of course mean that they would have to sequence break quite a lot. We do not know what is in the Lost Grove area yet, but the Froggy Walk over there would take quite a while. And then of course just things like Valley Entry, which Muffin just did with Stomp. They would need the Froggy for that. Also, they cannot check this pickup that Muffin is checking right now, but it is just Keystone. So not too major, but I think Stomp is really the only thing that Team Skillers is risking at this point over them. But okay, there's another Sunstone Shard in Misty.
Yeah, finally showing up. The shards are in some pretty not all that inconvenient places, actually. They're just kind of here on the left side. That one was along the way to the Climb Tree in Misty. We'll see if Dedew wants to continue on. That's kind of always one of those tough decisions in Misty, is whether you actually do the second half. It does look like he's going to do it for now. It also looked like he really hoped he had charge jump, but no, you unfortunately don't. This seed has been kind of rude in that regard. Every skill except the one that gives you the most height in one jump. But we'll see what he's going to find. Muffin collecting Feather, and Rory heading into Valley using his bash sequence break momentarily here.
So this is the first really Valley visit for Team Skillers. They have Glide and they also have Wind Restored, so they can pretty much check all these pickups that Team Half the Baguette has already checked. It will really only take a little bit longer for them to get there. That is pretty much all there's to it at this point. Now we have still not found a Water Vein Shard yet. So with 2 Sunstone Shards, maybe there will actually be some available.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Spark. It's not a good feel, but that very well may be the case. Checking up on these pickups in Misty, we're seeing a bunch of XP from the 4th Keystone here. We're going to see that the XP next to it is also just XP, and the dude's even going to continue on and check the grenade pickup. I'd be very surprised if he checked the Gumon Seal, but I mean, maybe. In a seed this starved, you might be thinking it could be there, and that might save you a bunch of time if it turns out to be there. It also might cost you a bunch of time if it turns out not to be there.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's really only one runner that has to check it, which effectively halves the time that you need to check this Gumon Seal. You could argue, maybe something like that. But no, Dedew opts to not check that because even half the time would still be probably around a minute or something like that.
Now, I want to say that Meldon has been like the biggest fan of the Spider Sack area today and the Spider Water. He has given them a lot of love. Head over here multiple times. This is the 3rd and final one to check all the remaining stuff that he couldn't check before. He still doesn't have 4 energy to be able to open this door normally. That's insane at this point in the seed, but he is going to now energy glitch it. Good, pretty quick setup there. He'll open the grenade door to the left with a thrown grenade right here, and then what's in this progression vault?
A Sunstone Shard, of course.
Well,
okay, it's another kind of shard.
That's really important.
Yeah, this is potentially huge. Like, we don't know where the other shards are yet, but that's the first Sunstone Shard, or Water Vein Shard.
Oh.
No, that's the 3rd Sunstone Shard on the bottom right for Meldon there. So once Rory finds these other 2 Sunstone Shards, which were not really too hidden, that would mean that Team Skillers can actually make it to Horror. And there were 2 shards that they really need in the Spider Sack area. So it'll be interesting to see when Team Half the Baguette makes a revisit for that, because they probably won't do that like too soon.
Well, here's the problem for Team Skillless right now relative to Half the Baguette. Half the Baguette have been following kind of the, Muffin likes to use this term tree vantage, which is kind of, it's a made up term, but it basically just means if I have the opportunity to go get a bunch of trees out of the way, because the goal to be able to finish the seed, aside from collecting those shards, you got to hit up all 10 of the skill tree locations. And his team has been doing that very effectively, even though they haven't gotten those shards yet. What they have gotten to do is at 9 out of 10 trees. He has done all but the Bash tree located inside Ginza. So that gives him a big time advantage here, where he can spend the next like 10 minutes farming locations looking for shards, and he still will not fall behind Meldon and Rory because they just don't have that level of tree collection.
That's actually a very good point in terms of who is ahead in this race. There are still 4 more Water Vein shards that could be anywhere in this area. Now, on the top right, Muffin is checking Sorrow and gets another Gumon Seal shard. But yeah, like you said, Religion, they have a lot of time to check these pickups.
The Gumon Seal shards, though, I'm just...
Sure, there's only one more missing, and we will probably find that too in this seed.
It definitely seems like something's hidden in there, and it's probably the shards that they need. Could be Charge Jump as well, which is pretty rude because it just means they're not getting Charge Jump in this seed, most likely. But we'll see. Dedew does appear to have headed pretty much directly to the Spider Sack area. I'm guessing he's going to want to save scum these pickups in the actual like Spider Sack area as opposed to the water area. But unfortunately, he's going to find there's 2 shards here, so he's not really going to be able to save scum them. And he'll have to manually walk back. There's Water Vein Shard number 1 for Half the Baguette. The same single one that Meldon already has. And meanwhile, Rory is following suit with Muffin, checking the rest of Sorrow Pass. So it'll be a little bit before he gets that shard from the Wilhelm XP that we know is there. And then the other Sunstone Shard was where?
And the grenade pickup that
Oh,
Dedew is about to get was a Sunstone Shard.
That's right.
And that
It was
should be
this thing?
Yeah.
Yep. And it was the Misty Plant right before Climb. And it was the Wilhelm XP. So Basically, Skillless just needs to get to those particular pickups, but it does look like they are working on some of their tree progress while they're doing this. That's good. They will eventually be able to catch up on that tree count, but the question is, how bad is that shard hunt going to be for half the baguette? Oh my god.
And there's the last Scuba Seal shard right before Forlorn. Or almost. Yeah, it's like right before Forlorn. So this seed is really screaming for Forlorn Ruins. I would actually expect something to show up there at this point. Now there's the Valley Teleporter. That's something you don't really need after you've already gotten there. But
oh gosh. Okay, a quick death for Rory. I say quick because it's not that bad of a repeat travel, but not the greatest death. You don't really want to take that, but he is going to make his way out and should be checking that Wilhelm XP pretty soon. Muffin heading into Forlorn as he is wont to do. He's going to be very happy to be the first person in Forlorn in this seed. Meldon working on Misty. He'll get his second Sunstone Shard soon. And Rory coming down to Sorrow to Valley from the top, and he's going to try to check some of these other pickups here that I think Meldon did not collect on his way through.
So that's kind of the nature of a shard seed, is really just checking all of these pickups. And half the baguette is still ahead in this seed just because of their knowledge advantage. They have checked some more pickups, and then also they are probably still ahead in terms of trees. And we will see if there's something in Forlorn here pretty soon, with Muffin checking everything of this. And that could potentially increase their lead, but at the same time, Team Skillless has also checked very many things on the left side right now, so they could also make the Forlorn play pretty soon.
I'll tell you what Skillless is not checked. It's that Wilhelm XP, and the problem for them right now is Meldon, I believe, is the one with Wind Restored, and Rory does not seem to have it. So he is not going to be riding the wind up to check that Wilhelm XP, and he didn't check it on the way down from Sorrow either. That's hilarious. Clean water, or is that the Glazer? That's how they were expected to get to that Wind Restored pickup. And now that Dedew has that, he's got access to all the water pickups in the game, many of which he's already checked, but oh boy, that Swamp Swim seems enticing right about now, Sparek.
It's probably where Dedew is headed next. Like, after Clean Water, I was immediately thinking Swamp Swim. Extra Sunstone Shard from Muffin and Forlorn, by the way. He's really only looking for Water Vein Shards at this point.
Yeah, I believe their team already having 3, so that's not super helpful. But I guess after having no shards all this time, now the seed finally is ready to bestow them upon our runners. Meanwhile, Rory is just following Meldon into Misty. He is going to be disappointed as Meldon finds out that there's no second shard located in this area. But he will collect Sunstone Shard number 1 for him, 2 for his team. And he'll have to go get the one in Spider Sack area, and then we'll see when he is going to find that third one, or where, really, is a good question.
It'll probably be the one in Forlorn for them at this point. So that one extra Sunstone Shard being in Forlorn is actually pretty nice for Team Skillless, because they have not checked the ability cell in the top of Valley. And they will probably not check that. So they will probably check Forlorn, because they are still on the hunt for the Water Vein Shards. And then getting the extra Sunstone Shard is certainly nice for them. But we're still only on 1 Water Vein Shard.
Yeah, and you gotta start thinking in the very near future. You gotta start thinking Horu. It's garbage, but boy, it very well might be the thing.
How many
Dedew, meanwhile, there's 14 total in Mount Horu.
So that's actually lots of pickups, right? So
yeah, it's pretty significant. We'll see. We'll see whether they choose to do that. Dedew is choosing to do that. There's no other play that this can be. He is heading directly into Mount Horu. Rory is finally hitting up the Stomp area where he might even be able to get Stomp from the sky, and Meldon finally hit up the Wilhelm XP, and that is a complete Sunstone for his team. We'll see whether it ends up being a little bit too little too late, but it still seems like they're in this thanks to that water vein being so god-awful.
If enough water vein shards, like the 2 more shards, both of them have the 1 water vein shard at this point, but if 2 more were to be found in Horu, and one of Team Skillers will make the Horu play pretty soon, then they could catch up.
Yeah, we'll see. There's been tons of things checked so far from both teams. We're seeing that half the baguettes at 6 maps checked out of the 9 available. Dedew is going to go ahead and do a save drop in Mount Horror, who already checked the door warp validation XP, quote unquote. And he is now going to check this XP at the bottom, and that's just a keystone. So he's going to once again reload his save. Muffin wants to collect that clean water pickup. That's not the easiest thing in the world, but you should be able to get it with just a few attempts here. There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense for Muffin. With Dedew making the Horu play, Muffin would probably do the swamp swim, so he does want to have that clean water. He's actually teleporting to Grotto right now. He would probably go to swamp via the water area, the lower route, where he can also check that XP. And after that, there are not too many pickups left, right? That we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, well, you know what we haven't seen yet? We haven't seen Lost Grove.
And lots of one-off pickups as well, like the long swim in the valley and the end of Forlorn. The Forlorn escape pickup could even be something.
So the 2 big ones, Spark, right now for me that are really screaming at me. One is that Lost Grove area, both like the garbage swim there and also the 3 other pickups. That seems pretty big at the moment. And the other one is the swamp swim, which Muffin is doing right now. So Dedew got clean water, but he didn't go to check this before going to Horu. And I kind of was thinking, like, that seems a little bit weird, but now we see that they're sending Muffin to do that. Dedew makes sure not to skip any pickups here in R1, so he will collect a vanilla mapstone as Meldon gets clean water for his team.
So we will see, yep, indeed there is 1 water vein shard in Swamp Swim. So this is the 2nd water vein shard. For Muffin it's the 1st, but it's the 2nd one really, with one being in, was it the progression vault? I don't remember. It was something in the spider sack area. And Dedew has that, so they have the knowledge. Ooh, okay, Muffin takes the death, but he had a save close by. So we will find out what's the final pickup in the Swamp Swim. Just a health cell. So we still have 1 more water vein shard. But you were pretty much right with something being in Swamp Swim.
Yeah, I mean, that 1 water vein shard, they're certainly not going to complain about picking that up. That is a big find. Meldon's going to go ahead and collect Stomp as well, which Rory got while he was here, so now they have that information. It did allow Rory to quickly get over to the grenade tree area. Dedew having a little bit of trouble getting out of room R1 of Horror, but he does now make it. So on the top left for Dedew, he's just not going to have any new pickups coming for a little while. He's got to do R2 and R3 before he gets to any rooms that have any pickups. But meanwhile, Rory claiming tree number 9 for himself and picking up the grenade tree, while Meldon is getting Water Vein Shard 2 for his team. So this is a lot closer than it previously might have appeared. Muffin checking this energy vault in Gumo's hideout, Spark. Rory checked this earlier. It was nothing as well.
Oh, okay. I thought we haven't seen that one being checked yet. But like you said, Vulagen, now with Meldon picking up the 2nd Water Vein Shard, they're pretty much evened out right now. And with them checking so many pickups on the left side, they are also pretty much evened out on the tree count. So really the only advantage that Half the Baguette at this point has is the Horu knowledge that they have so far. But if there's nothing here in Horu, that could potentially be a huge way for Skillers to catch up again.
I think the big problem for Half the Baguette right now is that Mount Horror's got there's 14 total pickups, of which they still have not seen, I think it's 9. And there's such a high chance of stuff being there. Right now, Meldon is collecting the grenade tree, so he wants to get that tree collection out of the way. Rory's picking up his Water Vein Shard from the Progression Vault here, and probably his Sunstone Shard from the Grenade Door, but they need all 3 of the Water Vein Shards to just not be in here, or be in L4 or something, because otherwise half the baguette's going to find them soon. They've got to find them and immediately get them and just get on their way. Otherwise, half the baguette's going to run away with this, just thanks to that advanced progression into Horu.
So I would like to see from Meldon maybe doing the Lost Grove play after the Grenade Tree or something like that, because that could potentially be huge for them. Okay, that was a Water Vein Shard in Horu.
It's over for half the baguette. They have found their Water Vein Shard. It was an R3. I guess I lied when I said there was no other pickups until R4. There's a plant in R3. So that's go mode for their team. That's quite something, because Muffin would have to do the entire right side of Horu to get that.
Yeah, so it's still quite a while for Muffin to get this last Water Vein Shard, but I would expect him to go there because it's safer than checking all of these basically one-off pickups that are left. Maybe Lost Grove, but they don't know for certain if there's something there, so the Horu play seems reasonable at this point.
Yeah, that's the big one, right? It's like, it is very time-consuming, but if you just do it, then it's probably better than the who knows what amount of time you'll spend looking elsewhere. And I mean, there's really not that high of a chance that 2 Water Vein Shards are hiding down in Lost Grove. Like, it's just a very small chance. I'm willing to bet there's at least 1 other Water Vein Shard in Horu, which means at best there's 1 Water Vein Shard in Lost Grove, at worst there's none, and the other one's also in Horu too, in which case it is a really, really bad time for Skillless, but we'll see.
We will probably see when Skillless goes to Horu, but like, they have 2 Water Vein Shards, right? So they will probably not check further than in R3 because they don't really need to. So maybe we will not know in the seed if there indeed were more Water Vein Shards in Horu.
Well, we are going to find out from Rory, I think, pretty soon. We'll see. He's going to Horu Fields, but I don't think he's checked the actual Horu Fields area either yet. So we'll start with that for sure. Meldon is heading towards Forlorn, so I'm guessing this is the Forlorn play, which is unfortunate because we know that there is nothing there, no shard whatsoever. And Muffin, meanwhile, he is already on his way into Mount Horu, and he is going to be working his way through those 3 rooms so he can get that plant, which it does require you to at least drain the lava in R3, so it's about as time-consuming as it can be involving that room.
So the Horu play that Team Half the Baguette did paid off for them. I think it was fairly likely that it would pay off. Like, with 3 Water Vein Shards still available on the map, it was pretty likely that one of these 14 pickups would be a Water Vein Shard. So I would argue that if the Horu play would not have paid off, that would have been like the unlucky thing.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Just due to the sheer number of pickups that are there, and the fact that they already had the Sunstone and knew where I think nearly all the shards were, it was definitely pretty unlikely that it wouldn't have been there. Dedew, meanwhile, finishes up his bash tree, so he's at 10 out of 10, and he can now head back to Horu to actually do the final escape this time. And he did, along the way, pick up the Horu Fields teleporter, so a little bit faster travel for him on the way back.
And this is what...
I was just noticing Rory in the bottom left, alt-R'd out of Horu Fields because he's going to Forlorn. Okay, never mind.
Ooh, okay. Well, I was just gonna mention that with Dedew already soon to be in his final escape, that's a pretty huge lead already for Half the Baguette, because we're taking the average times, of course. So with Muffin also pretty likely to find the next Water Vein Shard before Team Skillless, I would say that's pretty much their race at this point.
Yeah, it would take something catastrophic from Dedew right here, and unfortunately for Skillless, with Team Half the Baguette having all the skills except charge jump, which we just never saw, they will likely not have any trouble with the final escape whatsoever. It looks like they do, skillless do, finish checking stuff in Forlorn. And Rory's going to say, I'm not going to wait for you to check the right side. It can't possibly be here. He's going to head to Mount Horu.
Have we seen these other Forlorn checks from Muffin? That
I
Mel
don't
seems to be
believe that
going
we
for?
have.
Maybe it will be another water vein shot. It would not be enough for them to win this race, but it would be nice so they can finish out the seed faster. But at the same time, with Rory checking Horu, they will find the water vein shark pretty soon. But Dedew has already finished with a nice escape here, so he could not grenade jump. Will be somewhat around 49 for him.
Yeah, it looks about that way. Sub 49 potentially, which is pretty good. Considering the Horu visit in this seat, that's a really solid time. And able to finish the final escape, as mentioned, with no problems whatsoever. Muffin is in R3 and will shortly be collecting his... oh, he's trying, dude, but you can't quite actually hit that plant. But you... What?
What?
Huh.
Okay, you can hit that plant, like... I'm a little bit confused because I don't know if that would be considered legal in this tournament, but it's probably not giving them too huge of a lead, so it didn't really matter. But I don't know. Is it?
Well, for now, he's got the water vein, sure. He's got his full water vein. He is going directly into the Ginso tree. Was attempting to make use of Charged Flame Blast to blow up that plant from behind the lava pillar, but not quite enough reach that to be able to do that. So he is heading into the Ginso tree, and Dedew having finished up 48-47, Rory is working on Mount Horu, and Meldon is working on skipping this cutscene to claim the vanilla wind restored location, which is going to give him... Eventually, this cutscene... Oh, it's still got a bit. Okay.
These horror rooms are pretty tough to do, but Roryrai, I think he's running all dungeons, and that's a category that visits horror, so he's probably more experienced with the horror play than people like me are. But okay, he takes a death on his way back out of horror.
Ooh,
all of this is pretty much insta-kill, with him only being at 5 HP, or not like insta-kill, but yeah, some of this is actually insta-kill.
For all intents and purposes, yeah. Especially the Crushers. I believe the Crushers are just immediate kill if you touch the spikes at the bottom. Wow, okay, we've got Meldon going back to like the beginning of the game to check, I believe the right wall jump XP, as it's sometimes called. Normally accessible with charge jump in the vanilla game, but it's also with bash grenade. It's a sunstone shard. Come on, game. Have a heart.
Everything is saying horror, right? There's probably more than one water vein shard in horror. So, where's Meldon teleporting? Is he teleporting to Swamp? Yeah, he's probably doing horror as well now.
Oof. Well, Dedew having finished up, so I think Skillless knows that even if they both, even if they find whatever's in Horu, which is 100% definitely like all the remaining water vein shards, they know that they're not like winning, just by virtue of Rory would still have to get the shard, subsequently go to the Ginso tree, do that, and then come back and finish, and Meldon do all that stuff, all before Muffin finishes. And given when Dedew finished, it's not that common for two doubles partners to finish that far apart. So they have a pretty good idea that they're probably taking a loss in this race and going to 0-1, but it is a best of 3, so they do have the next game to be able to, even it back up, Spark.
So to kind of recap, what was really the thing that won Team Have the Baguette this race? Like, was it the Storm pickup? I don't really think it was just the Storm pickup.
I would say that it was the approach they took as far as how quickly they got to getting those trees out of the way. Both teams ended up having to farm nearly everything in the game world, but what Half the Baguette did was they just got to all the trees as quickly as possible, and so that made that farming a little bit easier for them because they didn't have to worry about doing the trees or not. And also, as it turned out, like grenades showed up at one of the trees. They got to dash sooner thanks to the Frankie walk from Dedew. Overall, just little things that they were able to do to make their tree hunt a little bit faster. Overall, also fed into their shard hunt, basically.
Yeah, that sounds about right with what it was. Now, they have clean water, so for Muffin on the top right, this swim is not too hard. He's setting up for a rather quick series of double dashes in order to do the fish threads. That's an interesting type of fish threads. You don't really see too often. Most of the time you keep the fish on the bottom and just bash it like when it's close to the lava. But Muffin used some double bash.
And then you just jump straight into the lava and take a death,
Yeah, sure. That's the casual fish thread, right? if you not accidentally kill the fish or some other stupid stuff and die to a rock after that, Horu is pretty dead. Is the gist of it. So,
oh goodness,
GG to Muffin for finishing out this seed as well.
Yeah, the time difference between him and Dedew pretty much just, oh, I have to go to Horu? Okay, I will go to Horu. So he's going to wrap up pretty soon here. Rory having collected his Water Vein Shard from R3. Meldon accepting the reality that this means he's going to have to go do Horu to get his last shard. So he's continuing on up into R1 to be able to start that process. Rory in the Ginso tree right now, but Muffin will be crossing the finish line momentarily here.
And just a quick update for people who might be still wondering, the laser charge dash from Muffin was indeed legal because there's no wall involved in this lava, unlike the lava to the left that you can see in the bottom right for Meldon. That would be an out of bounds, but the lava dash that Muffin did was not, so everything's fine there. Now we see Meldon self-drop. Did Rory not do that? In order
Might
to
not
check these
have.
figures?
Muffin finished up GG2 team Half the Baguette, finished up with a 53-49, and both Meldon and Rory went ahead and said, we don't need to finish the rest of this. That's plenty. So they have both called it a day on this one seed, and they will be getting ready for game 2 coming up right after this. So, pretty good play from both teams, but definitely the advantage, kind of the fortunate advantage, really, Spark. It was pretty much luck that Dedew's XP ended up where it was, but it was also good play by Dedew to recognize that he had the XP lined up to go do a Frankie walk and to be able to get that quicker access into Grotto. That got them dash earlier, and that got them grenade earlier, and then they got bash just pretty easily, and everything worked out very, very well for them thanks to that kind of basically that play, that Frankie walk.
Yeah, that was pretty huge in hindsight, now that you mention it. But of course, for the next game, anything could happen with a seed. We have had our Water Vein Horror seed already, so it can't happen twice in a row. Pretty sure with that. I know statistics. So, yeah, we will see what will happen in game 2, I guess, right?
Indeed. And that'll be coming up pretty shortly. But for now, we are going to go to a quick break. Both Muffin and Dedew had requested full 10-minute breaks because I believe Muffin's Dedew was a little bit sick, and Dedew was in need of the full rest in between games. So that's what we're going to get. I'm sure Meldon and Rory also will be happy to get a little bit of a cool off time between these seeds. But for now, Spark, it's been a pleasure having you here, and I believe I'm going to be saying goodbye to you temporarily.
Yeah, I'm going to be joining the truck for the next race. So you will hear a different voice than mine commentating with Wooler for the next race.
Well, thank you again, and thanks to Skullblock and Grease in our truck. We'll be having a slight truck swap, as mentioned, but we will be back in just about 10 minutes. Stick around for Game 2 coming up. Welcome back, everyone. We are here for game 2 now of Half the Baguette versus Team Skillless here in our doubles semifinal between the number 2 and the number 3 seed. Game 1, of course, going to Half the Baguette. Skillless will be looking to even the series up at 1-1. My name is Willigen. I'm still here, and I am now joined by Aiko. Aiko, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just chugged half an energy drink because I am that hyped for this match. We knew going into this that Dedew was sick, but the only thing sick I saw from him were those sick Horu plays.
Dude, that was totally sick nasty, oh man. Okay,
Yo.
That's all I got.
Okay, that's fair. That was more than I expected to get out of that.
Well, Muffin was saying right before this race that he did feel like Dedew basically picked up every single pickup for his team in that seed, which isn't literally true, but man, in terms of finding the Water Vein Shard and Horu, definitely true. And helping their team to victory, Dedew making that Frankie Walk play, Aiko, Dedew finding a lot of the shards, and they rode to victory on his back. But Skillless will be looking to just maybe get a little bit more quick progress towards trees and even things up here.
Yeah, I really feel like last game was the story of the just raw power and value out of getting one player to Frankie Walk when you're in a situation where you don't have any other split that you could make, because Dedew was on the lookout for that and was able to take that, and that just meant that they had so much more time with that dash pickup and that grenade pickup because they had someone in Grotto right away.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be getting started here right now as we have all 4 of our runners taken off and they're doing their prologue skips as well as possible. So now we're going to start seeing our good old, first couple pickups. And last time it was just a mapstone and 3 keystones. What sort of flavor you think we're going to get this time?
I'm thinking 1 keystone, 1 mapstone, 17 EXP, and the charge jump pickup.
Oh, that's a funny call right there, given that they just got what?
What? All right. So,
that's not right.
Yeah, Rory's key did not load. I think we may be. Is that like a everybody restart?
Well, we're gonna find out. We've got our crew on top of that. Definitely looks like the second pickup would have been 8 XP there.
All right. Well, I said a number of EXP. All right. It looks like we were restarting.
Okay. Yeah, it does seem that way. So everyone is gonna dot forfeit from the race, and they're all gonna dot rematch momentarily, and they'll get going again. And we'll find out whether we're going to be doing the same seed or a different seed. I believe these things are covered by some sort of rules in the tournament, but I don't recall what they are off the top of my head. So we'll let the people who have the bandwidth to work it out.
Yeah, and we can spend this time talking a bit more about last race if you want, or we can talk about what a charge jump start means. I'll leave that commentary writing decision up to you.
Oh man, commentary routing. That's rough.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So a charge jump seed probably means... Well, man, we got to make another routing decision right now, Aiko, because we got to decide, do we think that it's likely that the tournament rules specify they play on the same seed or a new one? Because if they play on the same seed, then that charge jump is very important. But if they play on a new one, it's totally irrelevant.
Well, I mean... Yeah, okay. I was about to say something about mindset and going in, but no, you're right. It is completely irrelevant. But I mean, let's just assume that they do get the same seed. If we're wrong, we'll just be wasting time talking about stuff that doesn't matter, which is to say what we would have been doing anyways.
Okay, that's fair. Well, charge jump as the first pickup is incredibly nice. It is super, super handy, gets you a lot of verticality and also vertical speed, gets you up quickly, as opposed to you can get triple jump and that's a decent amount of verticality, but that's just not as fast.
Spacebar 3 times.
That's right, dude. That's 3 times the inputs. It's very inefficient. But it also does 50 damage to things, which is a very nice feature as well.
The damage is one of my favorite parts of charge jump, and also just how well the skill is coded and what that means when it interacts with other skills. You charge jump and you dash, you're still charge jumping for about at least half of that dash, which pretty good. You can do that to break some sideways walls. You charge jump, you bash right away. You're still charge jumping. There are actually some funny places. The J Halcyon Stomp technique uses this. There are some other funny ways you can use this where if you're in a fight with the mini boss and you charge jump and then you immediately bash, you're still charge jumping. So if you hold the bash for like a full iframe cycle for the enemy, they will get hit again by the charge jump hitbox during the bash time stop.
Oh my god.
This
Is
game is
that
so
how that
good, dude.
That's fantastic. All right, we are ready to go again, and we are sticking with the same seed. So the charge jump first pickup is going to show up again, and the agreement that we've made with the runners is just that they're all going to pick up that second pickup no matter what, even though they know now, or at least most of them know now, that it is just 8 XP. So we'll be off on our way again.
That's worth, right? Because you could send one person into Blackroot after the first 4 or first 5, because charge jump makes that or adds the Froggy Walkie XP to the starting set more or less. And 80 XP plus the Brambles plus maybe 1 slime is a level, so that gives them their level up into a nice, fun, enjoyable wallless Blackroot.
Oh baby. But yeah, I agree with you. The 8 XP will be nice for that level up timing. Maybe even, hey, kill the Rhino and take his XP here. Yeah, no one's going to do that.
Well, Dedew used to, right? But he's been convinced to give that up on account of it being slow. I actually do really like seeing Muffin and Dedew kill one of those lanterns for the experience, because with charge jump, it's free to do that.
That's a really good point, actually. You don't really see people do that ever. I've never really thought about it. You sometimes see people, if you get bashes in early pickup, they'll remember to bash off those lanterns, but you never really see them charge jump them. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, damaging those, that is the Valley Teleporter, all right? That is spicy, but not, useful in logic. For the Valley Teleporter to lead to anything in Standard, you need to have, I think, at least Bash and Double Jump, or Bash and Wall Interaction, maybe, and then Stomp for it to lead to anything besides the Stompless area pickups. All right, another EXP, so this is either going to be a left side or a right side teleporter here on the 4th one, or they're going to have to head into Blackroot. And it is head into Blackroot o'clock.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone's going to be heading into Blackroot because Valley Teleporter is not really going to do it for us right now. I don't know. We'll see. You could go there and get 2 pickups down to the left with charge jump, but it does not seem like a particularly enticing play. So no one's doing that. They're just going.
I don't know. I feel like I'd consider doing that, and I wouldn't do it because anything down there is in logic, or because Blackroot isn't it would just to get a split up at spawn, and what you're doing is you're gambling on finding a keystone in Lower Valley, because if you do that, you can split up the spawn area checks and maybe get some info about letting your partner who's staying in logic what they can skip in the Glades area, stuff like that. I think that actually could be pretty valuable, but
I suppose that's true.
It's also very risky. Then again,
yeah, the likelihood of seeing a keystone there specifically is actually not that high, since it's not near keystone doors, and there's not really any special reason that those would be keystones. So it's pretty unlikely, and then it's probably why most people are probably not going to make that play. But also, of course, most people probably just wouldn't think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an unconventional / off meta play. I would love to have seen one of these teams pull it out, but I definitely don't think it it is, as you say, risky, because if there's no keystone there, you don't get anything out of it. And, oh man, Dedew does the charge jump only backtrack, but he spends his only energy doing that, which means that he's not going to be able to skip the darkness if he doesn't get a level up from here somewhere. He does find energy regen, but he really is not going to want to wait the 83 seconds?
83, yeah.
83 seconds that it would take for that to manifest into an energy that
no, Muffin!
Oh no,
Muffin!
Swag Struts. Oh,
that was extra troll. The orb, he had left the orb behind by he left the orb behind intentionally, missed the lever, and then came back. He was almost able to recover it with charge jump, but then the freaking orb just rolled off the platform.
Yeah, that was just maximum rudeness. Orb movement. All right, he does get it the second time. Half the Baguette does have this incredible multi-second lead up coming into lever pulling, even with Muffin's a little snafu there. But Dedew isn't going to be able to skip that cutscene.
Yep, he is going to be watching it, and it's not the worst cutscene in the world. It's only like 10 or 15 seconds or something like that. I don't think you even lose all of that time by not skipping it, since there's a reload involved. But we will get the first check on this mapstone from Muffin and Rory shortly after, and it's just a keystone. So there's our second keystone out of logic.
Yeah, see, it's basically the same as if they went to Valley, and we get that actual keystone on that dash tree. All right, so what do you think the next skill we're going to find is, Bula?
I'm charged up already in hand. It seems likely that the next thing you're going to see is either like a wall interaction or blue wall breakage. So charge flame, grenade, wall jump, or climb. Those seem like the likely ones to me right now. Those usually tend to follow the charge jump start.
That would make a lot of sense. And I think if we're Muffin, we are looking for a climb and a grenade so he can get access to those grenade jumps that he is known for loving and definitely puts to excellent use. Interesting. I think it'll be... I love this one. We get like not only the same split from both teams, but they're aligned the way the windows are aligned. So I'd like to thank these teams for doing that for us. We've got on the left, Dedew and Rory are checking the Raziel No area as Muffin and Meldon are heading to left glades.
And thanks to that slight advantage that Rory was able to open up by being able to skip the cutscene, he's a little bit ahead, but not by an earth-shattering amount here. Muffin slightly ahead of Meldon going in over here. Does manage to find that mapstone right next to the map monument and claims a water vein shard from map 1. So Basida having a little bit of a sense of humor, giving them charge jump right away, Aiko, and then also giving them an early water vein shard.
Yeah, so the real question is it going to be 26 minutes before we find our first sunstone shard? Are those all going to be in Ginso? I actually really like sunstone shards in Ginso.
They're definitely less bad, I feel like, than water vein shards in Horu, due to the Ginso tree being actually fast to do and Horu not.
Yeah, I mean, Ginso's also fun in a way that, like, I feel like Horu isn't exactly, but... I mean, Horu actually has some pretty good, interesting room and puzzle design. You just don't... It's buried under all these cutscenes and lava droppings and technically pick up dense areas, I guess. Kind of.
a small number of pickup dense areas. But, alright, well, we've made it to wall jump tree on the right side, and not really found anything of particular note. The tree itself, just 51 experience. So Rory's followed along this way, so has Dedew. They don't really have many other options. Muffin having 6 keystones right now, so I would expect we're going to be seeing... Oh, hey, there's Charge Flame. So I expect we're going to see him get the pickups in Spirit Caverns, and then leave without opening the top door to do the Charge Flame tree. Or, just kidding, he'll do it the opposite order.
Yeah, I think... if you look at it, Dedew was at Spirit Flame already, so I think, or at Spirit Caverns already. So what they're going to do is Dedew's going to take a death, and that kind of sucks. But I think the split they're going to go for is Dedew's going to check Spirit Caverns, and Muffin's going to make a beeline for Charge Flame. And if Dedew doesn't find anything in Spirit Caverns, Muffin can just head up past Charge Flame. Oh, yeah, okay, he's just going to grab that energy. Muffin can just head up because they have Charge Jump. He can just head upwards, and oh man, he finds Bash there. That's pretty nice.
Well,
good skill.
Wall Jump showed up in Spirit Caverns, so both places, Rory doing basically the same split that that Muffin and Dedew just did, and yeah, Meldon finding Bash as well. So basically both teams following the exact same route, exactly as you just described, and Rory and Dedew finding wall jumps. So Muffin and Meldon are going to want to head over to Spirit Caverns, get that wall interaction pretty soon. And for their part, Rory and Dedew are going to want to go get Bash.
And wind restored from that Charge Flame tree.
Oh my goodness.
Might not be relevant. We may never see Glide. But, you know, having wind is nice, and it's in an easier place than that long grenade swim. But yeah, definitely not a case where Muffin's like, oh yeah, I can definitely skip Spirit Caverns. It's just too valuable to head there. I wonder if we'll see him open the door or just save the keystones. It's like sort of a time versus keystone things. Do I want to head up here and open the door and head into Valley Entry, or do I want to just go around to get there and save those 4 keystones for later?
I think at this
It's
early
just going to be like...
game. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's just gonna beeline for wall jump and drop back down, not even gonna bother with the other pickups. He knows they're nothing. I really like that actually, and now we're probably going to see him head up and out through the charge flame tree area and head right.
Yeah, I think at this early stage in the game, you definitely want to minimize the number of keystones that you burn on things like that, and so just gonna go ahead and curious what Meldon's doing right now. Getting some energy. Okay, he wants to throw down a save, I'm thinking here. He has bash, and he could bash off some of these birds to get up to
I think he
the
wanted
top
that
of this
energy to break
area.
the plant.
That makes sense.
And he does, and he finds an entire keystone in it. So that is nice. Yeah, one thing Muffin said in his interview yesterday that I thought was definitely really worth thinking about was that the way he thinks about keystone pickups is basically just that each one, or like 4 keystones, is like a minute or 2 of searching later. So if he is spending less than a minute going around that door, it is time saved effectively. And I think that's a like pretty good internal metric. Like even a good key dupe spot, you are probably going to take to get there and then move on like almost a minute just to get there and check everything. So I think that is like a good internal benchmark. So he will be keeping that in mind when he's making decisions like that, I think. And he save scums all of Valley Entry. I really like that. He saved on the right side of the Spirit Tree, so he is now going to be able to head directly right into the Spider Sack area.
No less, he didn't just save on the right side of the Spirit Tree, he used a save anywhere to throw down that save. And I believe that was to level up and regroup as well. Really good early game ability to have. We have Rory.
Oh, sorry. He got regroup and he got charge flame efficiency, which is really nice because he's heading into the spider sack area with 1 energy. And there are plants. Like when you continue further, there are plants. There are blue walls here. You want to be able to break these walls. And oh, nice, a second energy cell. Rory's already gotten that, but that'll be really nice for these runners. Early charge flame.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Sunstone Shard for Dedew showing up in the top left off of map number 2, so that's pretty good. I'm not sure exactly what Dedew is trying to do with the peg there, but he's having kind of a moment. Oh, okay, I think he's gonna bash the Frankie out of the peg, so another sequence break for Dedew, trying to, a bash bug too. Trying to just kind of save a little bit of time here and get that same split basically that his team was able to get in the last race for navigating the right side of the map here. So this is potentially another pretty good time save for his team.
Yeah, I really like this. I mean, I think it's a little bit weaker in terms of like a sequence break in terms of what it gives you access to than the full Frankie walk, but it also doesn't take as much time and it does get you straight to the most pickup dense area. So as long as you can do it without killing the frog, which Dedew has managed, so he's trying to make sure that he has to being very safe. That frog is the only lifeline you have on like avoiding having to find Stomp, and that can be pretty important. So he wants to make extra sure he does not accidentally kill it.
Indeed. So he did manage to save it, just required an altar, and he'll teleport back. It's a time loss, but not the worst in the world. Meanwhile, Rory and Muffin are pretty much kind of synced up in this main Hollow Grove area. Meldon right behind both of them, collecting a health cell, looks like. Muffin is going to check the Horu Fields health cell, while Rory does not appear to be doing so. And they've all collected Sunstone Shard number 1 from map number 2. And we'll see what's going to show up here. Meldon riding pretty high on keystones here with 9. Muffin and Rory and Dedew all having 6 at the moment. So they should be pretty free to kind of use their keystones as they see fit here.
And that is Glide for Dedew. That's really nice and is going to give him free access up and down this entire Moon Grotto long shaft area because he has wind. So that's another skill that we find, again, in Lower Grotto. This time it's not as big as Dash, but still a really nice find for Dedew that they are going to just get info on earlier because they don't have 2 people in the same area that in the way that Meldon and Rory do. Although Meldon and Rory have now split up. I do really like this. Sending 1 player in through Iceless, that'll be Meldon, as Rory goes around the outer swamp loop with Muffin.
I do also really like this play. This will get Meldon down towards Grotto, get them that tree progress that they are going to want to get in the very near future. Meldon will take a quick save here at the teleporter, get his energy back so that he can skip the upcoming bridge cutscene and collect his water vein pickup. He will check a handful of other pickups as well while he's around here. He's got plenty of health damage boost. Muffin is actually doubling back, so he just wanted to get the teleporter so that he could then continue down to Grotto to follow Dedew, while Rory is actually continuing with this entire outer swamp check.
Interesting. I think we'll see what ends up being nice there, or which of those plays end up paying off more. Outer Swamp sometimes just has nothing in it, but you never really want to bank on that. So I assume we'll see a member of Half the Baguette head there sooner or later. Meanwhile, Dedew did the mini boss with charge jump. That is pretty easy. He finds an energy cell, which this early I think is actually definitely worth that time investment. It is only his second. Doesn't look like Rory's found anything in the Outer Swamp loop yet, but he's still got 2 plants, 1 ability cell, 1 underwater pickup, and all of Swamp if he decides to do Swamp entry. Dedew finds the Sorrow teleporter in the Crushers.
That is a pretty important pickup. Meldon had a close call with some Crushers there in his Death Gauntlet check, but is okay. Gets a lot of experience underwater, 350, not the highest amount, but pretty substantial. And there's a second Sunstone shard for Rory, so this Outer Swamp play does pay off, at least in that, coming from the plant near the Swamp entry area. And so that's now 2 for his team, and in the near future should also be 2 for Team Half the Baguette. And pretty good start on shards in this seed, Ico, especially compared to the last seed. Oh, hey, there's the third one.
There is the 3rd Sunstone shard. Dedew finds that on the way to double jump. No player will miss that, I have to assume. And we also, in the bottom right, saw Meldon grab Grenade from the hidden experience in the Death Gauntlet. So he manages to avoid those Crushers and comes up with a skill, and that unlocks Bash Grenade for his team, which is, pretty nice. Another huge 300 plus experience underwater in the Glide Vault 2 energy door room in Grotto. So that is going to be another further indication that clean water is not soon TM, as some people would describe it. Is oh man, Muffin's doing Swamp entry in 2 shots, phase through 3.
He's got the perfect setup to phase them through.
No.
He's doing the same movements every time.
5, 6, 7. What? How?
He dances around a little bit to express his feelings about that.
Okay, it goes.
Oh, that's fantastic. This game is beautiful. It is a wonderful video game. Rory has gotten Death Gauntlet when he collects his grenade. Top team, of course, Half the Baguette, not having gotten that yet as they have continued up this way. And I do think it's interesting that last race, Meldon, when he went up to Outer Swamp, he was the first person to say, I'm just going to bash directly in with this frog. But for his part, Muffin is the one doing that this time, and Meldon actually said, I'll get to it later this time.
Yeah, Dedew never really had a chance to head to the Death Gauntlet just yet, because he came into Swamp via the, or came into Grotto via Black Root. So he's going to backtrack up for the teleporter before he'll have the chance to check that Death Gauntlet. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him head there after checking a few things around this teleporter. And then once he does, they will have Grenade.
Meanwhile, the bottom Team Skill is finding a new Sunstone shard that I don't believe we had seen yet, and that was in the redirect area in Gumar's hideout. So we've already seen 4 of the Sunstone shards. So I was saying something earlier about being a nicer start as far as shards go, but now I'm thinking, are we getting shards in Horu again? Is that the forced progression here?
I mean, it could be shards in Horu. It could also be skills in Horu, right? Like, I guess you could finish the game with these skills. But it wouldn't be a bunch of fun. Oh man, Dedew waiting. Okay, he does get the energy regen tick, but oh man, energy regen 1 is like the biggest trap.
It's not good.
He's gonna have to Altar or die down there. He's going to choose to Altar. It's a better choice than dying usually. Well, sometimes. And yeah, that is another Sunstone shard down there. That's 4 so far, and we could actually see our runners. Like Stomp could be in like R1.
So
it could not actually. Stomp could not be on R1 because it was on the Stomp tree. Otherwise, it could have been.
Yeah. So thinking about this, you need bash, wall interaction. Wall jump is enough. And then 2 of double jump, charge jump, and glide. And they have those things. The inside of Horu is completely in logic right now with those skills.
Well, with these skills, they need 1 more Sunstone Shard.
Whew. Well, I believe Meldon has his, Rory at least has his 3rd, I know. And then Meldon should have his 3rd short lane. I'm guessing that the other one's not going to be super hard to find, so I think Horu is possible, but man, who's going to go there? Who would go there?
No one. Like, I mean, you just wouldn't, right? Like, it wouldn't make sense. All right, the dude does find grenade, but like these runners probably could be thinking, hey, Horu in logic. Let's just hope that that's not progression, and if
Let's
it's
do
like
something else.
yeah, like maybe Stomp's there. Let's just finish the game without Stomp. Maybe like the only thing that would like force them to go to Horu is there being water vein shards and it would probably have to be multiple water vein shards or something that hard locked access to the rest of the water vein shards. But they've got Glide and Wind, they've got Bash. There aren't that many hard locked locations left. There are a few things that are hard stomp locked. There are a few more things that are locked by having something stomp E like climb, charge, jump. But not that much is like incredibly hard locked right now. So unless they really cannot find another water vein shard, because they now have 2 now, Dedew turns in another mapstone, and that is 2 water vein shards for mapstones.
Interesting.
But,
We also
over
have
on the bottom left.
exactly what I was going to mention. The bottom left, take a look at Rory double bashing a spider shot to get access to the charge jump, above charge jump ability cell and the tree. But not finding anything, but he will at least be able to check this tree out. And this is good knowledge for this team. Skillless right now. We haven't seen half the baguette go to the left side of the map.
He is, okay, he's going to have to go back. He realizes that he needs to do another bash, double bash chain with a spider shot. He doesn't have enough health to do the charge jump damage recoil method to break this last wall between him and the charge jump tree.
Yeah, and he's just slightly early relative to finding the actual stomp skill, which will show up in just a few minutes for Rory, but for Meldon, that is.
But... he's going to try and hell stomp this. I don't know if this works. And from the left Ginso or stomp cell, we found a 3rd water vein shard for Dedew. So that is a full water vein for Team Skillless Team Half the Baguette, and he is going to take that into the Ginso tree right away. This isn't clues. You don't need to worry about having that Sunstone Horu, or God, that would be a thing. You don't have to worry about that Sunstone Ginso clue completely ruining your day from tree 9. You can just head here, hit the bash tree, and probably leave, right? Like, isn't this go mode for Team Half the Baguette?
It absolutely is. They don't need any remaining skills. It would be great to find climb, luckily, somewhere along the way, but they absolutely don't need it. So now it's a tree race, basically, Ico. They just need to get through everything as quickly as possible. Muffin knows it. He's going to collect Glide. He's going to collect, whatever else was just there along the way. But Meldon is going to get Stomp right now, and that is going to put Skillless right on the path to finish up their collection as well. They just need to find 1 more water vein shard, but it's going to be a little bit of a head start for Half the Baguette on that go mode here.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see, because they do a bit more searching for stuff. We could maybe see Team Skillless find a climb or a dash, but I don't know. It's not super likely, and they're going to need to find that last water vein shard pretty quickly. Nice. We've got Meldon is the player doing the 4 HP version of this, much more than 4 HP damage boost, taking advantage of that physics continue to happen during a cutscene because video game.
Sadly, just 89 XP, so not getting anything for his trouble there, but at least he was able to get that check out of the way. So 6 trees right now for Rory is what we're seeing on his side. He's going to do a few more checks out here in the main area of Valley, because they are still short that 1 water vein shard. If he finds one along the way here, this could be really, really great for his team. Just save them a little bit of time. So far, no luck. But meanwhile, Meldon heading into Sorrow after Rory, he's going to do basically the same trip down the left side. Dedew wrapping up the first half of Ginso and probably his entire visit here. He's got 11 keystones, so he is good to go. As does Meldon. Muffin having 8, Rory having 10. So plenty of keystones. No one should have any problems with that.
Yeah, and there were 2 keystones in that first key room, so even if they did, for some reason, feel like they didn't have all the keystones their hearts desire, they can get even more in that Ginso tree.
All right, that is 5 trees each for Dedew and Muffin as well now. We have Meldon going, actually, he's going right from the Sorrow teleporter. Okay, just kidding.
Dash from the Bash Tree experience, which is a thing to find. Definitely going to be nice for Team Half the Baguette. Dedew can take that to the bank and also to the left side of the map.
Yeah, the immediate alt-R there, I think, is really a pretty correct decision. You don't need it. You already didn't need anything else, and then you got Dash, and it's just like, okay, I'm just good. I just gotta, not something, count your chickens, blah blah blah. I don't know, things. Just go finish the game.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Chickens, blah blah blah, things, finish game. We are on the same page here.
So Dew is going back to the outer swamp area. So I think this is his swamp access is from here. Meanwhile, Rory is wrapping up the Misty Woods, so he's going to get his climb tree. Again, we're still waiting to see if they're going to find that water vein shard. That location for that last water vein shard, it was in Grove.
Yeah, it's the ability cell that you can glide wind to near Ginso. So not incredibly. It's sort of orphaned. It's which is what I like to call just like a location that at this point it's become a one-off. Like it's not necessarily a one-off natively, but because they've checked everything around it and couldn't check it, it's become a one-off. And Dedew is forgetting that he has charge jump, which is a mood, but not going to be a problem. He gets that double bash chain first try and is going to be able to make his way to the stomp tree without any problems.
That dash pickup is going to help them a lot too. Half the baguette, it's just going to give them, again, having that dash advantage for just a bunch of this seed is going to give them a little bit of extra speed here. Meldon does collect the charge jump tree. I did not catch which number tree that was for him, but Rory here is coming up on number 7, and they just really need to find that water vein shard. But until they do, oof.
Double jump from the climb tree, so that's a skill advantage that.
Oh, jeez.
Half the bag or team skillless is going to have, but yeah, without that water vein shard, they are just sort of in a bit of a pickle, especially because that water vein shard leads directly to dash, and Meldon finds warmth returned in Sorrow, as Muffin altars instantly after getting the dash pickup, just like we saw Dedew do.
We do have Rory continuing in Misty, so again, this is one of those situations where the bad thing can be that if you have missed a slightly faster shard, you can find one for your team, but it's somewhere like the back half of Misty that's pretty slow to get, so you really don't want to find one here, but at the same time, like Rory is going to spend this time here. There's no way he would avoid doing this, so just because of the way they've routed, so you want him to find one and you don't want him to find one at the same time.
Well, I mean, here's the like ideal route for the for skillless with regard to this. Rory finds one, tells Meldon about it, makes a beeline to the Ginso tree. On the way, checks that cell, finds the water vein shard, and by that time, Meldon may have beelined for heading through Misty, but he's not going to have made it past the bash tree in the time it takes Rory to get to Ginso. And then because Rory checked the tree, or checked that cell, he can tell Meldon, hey, never mind, there was one here, unlucky, but at least you don't have to do the second half of Misty.
Yeah, the maximum amount of like saving your butt basically on the amount of time investment. So we'll see if they are able to get something fortunate like that to happen. That is kind of a lot of circumstances. Most likely what's going to happen is Rory's not going to find one in this grenade pickup, and he is just going to leave Misty, having spent a couple extra minutes here, unfortunately. Dedew having just gotten tree number 7. I believe for Muffin, the charge jump tree was either 6 or 7. I think it was 7 because Bash was 6. So
You know what team Half the Baguette does not have?
what don't they have?
5 health or clean water.
Oh, baby.
I mean, they're probably getting pretty close to Ultra Defense, so it's not like a huge deal, but
I had not even thought about that. Wow. Rory, meanwhile, is sitting on an obscene amount of health, and I don't know how much of that is a mega health, but I don't think
there's
all
a
of
mega
it
health
is a
in
mega.
Without a Mega Health, that would only be 4 health if that was a full Mega Health. I'm not quite sure. It looks like Dedew is up to 5 now. But the real question is how far is he from that Ultra Defense? Is it feasible for him to go for it? Because if not, that's a 5 HP swim he's got to do.
It's
Oh,
definitely not. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm getting word from the truck that Dedew has Ultra Defense, or not Ultra Defense, health regen. So that does mean that he effectively has 6 health as far as that swim's concerned. It's not.
With the skills that he does have, I think even lacking double jump, I'm just kidding, he'll never lack double jump. It's right on the climb tree. Yeah, he's fine. He doesn't need to worry too much. He did pick up, Muffin did pick up a health cell right in Misty, and Dedew is going to claim that momentarily. So that will definitely help him out there. He will end up at, well, more than the 0 health he has right now. Good gosh. And meanwhile, Rory heading into Stomp tree, he will be able to collect that. That is going to be tree number 9 for him. And he's also going to find another water vein shard on map 6. I don't know what, or possibly even 7. I don't know what Meldon's progress is like, but wow.
Is that the third water vein shard?
Nope. I'm stupid.
Okay.
I just realized what happened. There was one on map 5. That was the thing.
Okay, that was the map 5 one. I looked at their mapstone tracker and like totally blanked on the fact that in doubles that doesn't tell you what each individual person has.
All right, yeah, that's the one complicated part about doubles. Well, there's many complicated
no,
parts
that's the
about
only
doubles.
complicated part. Everything's simple. Everything else is simple. It's easy. We're doing a great job. Go us.
All right, well, that is tree number blur for Meldon.
I think it's tree 8. I think it's got to be tree 8 for Meldon because I don't think either of them have done the grenade tree.
Yeah, so it's Bash and Grenade. Same deal for Half the Baguette. They're both needing Grenade, and then whatever other tree it is that each one of them has skipped. It looks like Dedew skipped Charge Jump, so he'll be going ahead to take care of that.
Yeah, I think Dedew was doing the Grenade tree when Muffin was doing Charge Jump, because they have both those on their team tracker. Oop, just getting over that last bit of spikes, proving to be a bit of a problem. This traversal with that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say he does now have double jump, so it makes it a fair bit easier, but it is still pretty challenging. He will be able to break this wall a little bit more easily than Rory did. Speaking of Rory, checking Mapstone in BRB looked like, and now he's going to go to the Grenade tree. For Dedew now, this is tree number 10. He is done. And for Muffin, this should be tree number 10 as well.
Yeah. At this point, I really think this is Half the Baguette's game, and really, therefore, Half the Baguette's match. They've been playing really well together, doing some great early game splits, and it has definitely paid off for them.
Yeah, and this one, it definitely came down to less of like a, kind of overall routing play. Both teams routed really well, and their routes worked out for them in different ways. But for Half the Baguette, just hitting that one location on the way around the outer swamp loop, because their outer swamp routing came in at such a time, it allowed them to find that water vein shard, and then that really made the difference for them here.
Yeah, definitely. And now we've got both runners on Half the Baguette heading into Horu at basically the same time. No charge, no climb, so we're not going to get any grenade jumps for Muffin. Unlucky. Oh no!
Oh!
Some stomp cancel, but the thing that was canceled was his life.
Yeah, I was going to make the same joke. Dang it. Beautiful. Oh, man. Yeah, so very nice execution by them and play in general. Muffin on 5 health, but I believe he's also got health regen from wherever that happened to show up. Even if he doesn't, it's a 4 HP swim to finish it off, as long as he can pull off the good execution for that, he is good to go. The Dew, 6 HP, and he's got his swim ahead of him, so he should also be good to go. Meanwhile, Rory finishing up his grenade tree. Meldon, same deal, but they still don't have that water vein, so they're unfortunately going to be hunting while the Dew and Muffin finish up.
Well, Dew and Muffin are hunted by this giant bird that gives them an ability cell and then just tries to murder them. Because, you know, that's what happens in Ori and the Blind Forest. Bird shows up, gives you just some random stuff, and then says, okay, now it's time for you to die.
Maybe he's just really regretting having given that item to you. You know, he says, I really wanted that ability cell. Why did you take it? And you're like, I didn't take it. You gave it to me. Shut up! I'm killing you. So that's where we are right now with Kuro, you know, trying to kill them. But fortunately, Dew and Muffin are both very slippery. Muffin making it out with a 5 damage swim and health regen helping him out there. Just needs to not get nicked by these rocks. Meanwhile, Dew has finished the final escape, and so is Muffin. GG to Half Baguette. They are victorious here in the semifinals today, and they are going to the finals of the doubles tournament.
Yeah, this is super exciting for them. GG to both of them. They're going to finish really close together, maybe like 10 seconds apart, and with a overall time in the 36 minutes, which is really great for a doubles seed. I mean, I wouldn't call this a jet seed with how late we found Dash, but definitely the way they routed this, they did not really run into any problems or have to search too deep in any major areas.
Yeah, the shards were very kind for Half the Baguette this time. Unfortunately, just a 1 miss for Skillless pretty much means that they are doomed here. And, you know, just little things like that. That's kind of the reality of Randomizer. Sometimes those little things will be the reason you win, and sometimes they will be the reason you lose, and sometimes they just don't happen, and both teams get everything they need, and it's just a pure execution race. But Randomizer has a lot of faces, and in this case, it was the one where, unfortunately, the missed pickup did it for Team Skillless.
All right, so we found clean water for Skillless in the Forlorn plant, and we also found that 5th Sunstone shard that we were thinking might be nearby and hinting to Horu. It was in Sorrow, so, you know, not that. Though, I mean, I guess we had the Sorrow TP and Glide, so wasn't that far out of the way logic-wise. Yeah, now Meldon is just searching all of Sorrow for a Water Vein shard.
Yep, and I mean, it could be there, so we haven't seen a lot of this. So this will be some new information for us. We did, of course, get that new Sunstone shard information. We'll see what else is there. Meanwhile, the partial baguettes on the top, Half the Baguette finishing up with 36-24 and 36-34 respectively. Great times for both of them, and importantly, the victory in this match. And Rory and Meldon, for their part, they are very close to finishing up, so you know, they're just going to continue on, find that one Water Vein shard. That's all they need, and they know there's so many locations left that's not likely to be in Horu yet again.
I mean, there could be some in Horu, but we know that they're not all in Horu, and that's what's important.
That's true.
Some of the Water Vein shards not in Horu is good. Just in general.
I am curious as to whether in that preceding seed, all 3 of the remaining Water Vein shards were actually in Horu, or if there was something in Lost Grove. But we'll see if anyone wants to bother finding that out after the race is done. Meanwhile, we have Rory checking the grenade pool at the start. We have Meldon floating up to the Sunstone. Oh, God! Okay.
Just getting lasers. Oh, man, that's a lot of progress, actually. He didn't save after this room. You can't save in this room, so he set up back before it. This room is just one of those like very few rooms in the game where the game is just like, we will absolutely not let you save in here at all on account of base game not having Alt-R in it makes rooms like these a bit more dicey.
Indeed. We have Rory checking Death Gauntlet water. He picked up clean water, as did, I believe, Meldon. So they were doing some various other checks, but that didn't turn up anything quite yet. I'm sure there's some more stuff in Grotto, potentially, that they haven't hit up. Rory's going to head to the teleporter. We do have Meldon safely making it up through the shaft all the way to the Sunstone area. So let's see what we got. An ability cell. Woo.
All right, and we will definitely be able to see what this is.
And Meldon will be able to level up Ultra Defense. That'll be nice.
Nice. Better than not having Ultra Defense.
True.
It is probably better than Sense.
Uh,
It's better than 2.6 Sense.
I don't know, man. You can see through those walls.
Okay, you know what? You're right. You can see through walls. That is actually probably better than taking 4/5 rounded down to the nearest 0.5 damage. Oh, there we go.
There
Rory
it
finds
is.
it.
Yeah.
That's their water vein shard. They know.
And he
They're
probably
like, "Oh."
realizes that specifically is the water vein shard that most likely did them in.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and head into the Ginso tree and perform that stuff. And Meldon now has found out the same information, so he will go ahead and Alt R. And actually, they'll go ahead and both call it a day. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense, honestly. Like, at this point, once you found the water vein shard, it's just a very mechanical, well, you know, I guess I better climb the Ginsu tree. Ginso tree. Jinsu tree. I think that's definitely it. The Jin soup tree. It's a tree made of soup. That's made of gin.
The Fanta Ginso tree?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably what it is, actually. Vantage
Alright.
soup tree. Forgot the soup. Can't believe you tricked me into forgetting the soup.
We all forget the soup, Echo. I don't know what we're talking about anymore, but we will be finding out if our runners are interested in joining us for the interview, as we often do after these races. Meldon and Roy, for their part, they do seem to be continuing on. They'll just play on, and we'll find out who wants to come chat in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I go, you know, overall between both games of this series, what do you think the overall story is?
I mean, part of it obviously is that team Half the Big at both times found their shards and entered shard go mode sooner. But I think like one thing that like really struck me about watching both those games is that the extra steps that Muffin and Dedew took both times to make sure that they weren't clearing the spider sack area at the same time. The first game it was the Frankie Walk, and the second game it was the Peg Bash in. But both times they got Dedew into Grotto earlier and just started getting them more info, and that translated into checks that Muffin made that Dedew didn't have to, and vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in the first game, the not only that particular skip, but also the fact that they were so much more aggressive, half the baguette, on checking those trees, just getting the trees done, so that when it came time to do their farm of the entire game world, they were able to do it pretty efficiently. So
Yeah,
you know,
and they had like Bash, or they had Dash like 10 minutes earlier. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be joined by our victorious runners, Covert, Muffin, and Dedew. Welcome in, and GG to both of you guys. Congratulations on moving on to the finals. We'll start with the second seed, because it was a little more straightforward and it's more recent. Basically, everything kind of just fell into your lap. At any point during this seed, was there anything that kind of threw you guys for a loop or caused you any real like difficulty?
We we didn't realize we were in go mode, and Dedew almost did the entirety of Ginso.
Yeah.
And
You almost like into escape.
Alright, yeah, so the Sunstone Shard before Double Jump Tree, something in my brain just did not process that he found that, and so I thought we were short a shard, and we're both kind of out of it today, and Dedew is sick, and yeah, but we got kind of lucky there.
Oh my god. If this is you guys when you're sick, jeez. Well, we'll go to you to do, because you'd mentioned that that you'd been pretty sick at the beginning of the week, and that you guys had also mentioned that you didn't have a chance to really practice together, and I think it really showed in the way that you found everything important and Muffin didn't. Basically, not actually, but just like, what is it about your guys' routing? Like, how is it structured as far as trying to get you guys to like, are there places that one of you is more comfortable with than the other, or are there places that one of you just prefers to go, anything like that type of thing?
Yeah.
So I guess one thing, we fundamentally structure the beginning always the same. Dedew does the Rhino EXP for the 9 EXP, and then if we find wall interaction in first 2 pickups, he skips the Glade key door check for the 3rd and 4th pickup, and then just goes into BRB immediately to get the useful information. And then that will all, like, even if I have to follow and go BRB, he always can just like tell me if the first 2 checks in BRB are worth it or not. Beyond that, we usually just stick to that regimen, and then middle game gets kind of like we just try and split up and don't check the same areas and communicate which places we're skipping. Like, Dedew skipped the 4 energy vaults in the bottom of Grotto because he didn't have 4 energy, and so my goal was to try and get 4 energy before heading down there, et cetera, et cetera. And then that way we can have the most efficient sort of clear. I guess that's about it for mid game, right? Dedew?
Yeah. Also, I did like the Rhino strats and I wanted to go into BRB straight away before checking the 2 keystones. But then I just forgot, even though I had like the Rhino XP. That's when you're sick, I guess. You're not doing what you said you were gonna do.
Well, I mean, it got you an easier level, but we definitely did see some sick plays from you later. So that double bash into or double bash on the Frankie on the peg and getting you into Grotto. Both games you ended up in Grotto early and found a skill, and that ended up being pretty nice. I don't know if you guys plan on watching it back, and if you don't want spoilers.
I don't mind spoilers. I'm fine with whatever.
Well, both games you guys actually got to do into Grotto before someone on skill list did. They didn't do the sequence breaks you did both times, and so they both had to head over the top.
Okay.
So that actually ended up getting you some time and checks. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's a play we always try and do.
Yeah,
I
like
think it
having
makes a lot of
someone checking like upper swamp, upper grotto, and having someone check grotto from the bottom is always pretty nice in doubles.
Well, particularly going back to game 1, which was quite a game, so we can talk about that a bit. Going back to game 1, you lined up your XP for Frankie Walk, and I want to ask, like, how do you approach that? You can't necessarily manipulate your XP in a randomizer, but you can to an extent. Like, what do you do to accomplish that or look for?
BRB is a really nice way to set up your XP for Frankie Walk. Because like all the slimes give a really nice amount of 12 experience, which is like really useful to get your XP like all set up. Actually, like for game 1, Muffin, like we said that Muffin was gonna do Frankie Walk, and then I just did it, and we were confused, and
yeah, I kept
it worked out.
I kept dying trying to get my EXP within range because I couldn't kill like a slime at the bottom or something like that. And Dedew was like, "I'm just gonna do Frankie Walk," and we're like, "Okay." And then we talked about it after the game and talked about adjusting routing and stuff. But it's pretty easy within the first 5 levels because you're always within like something like 200 or 300 experience of leveling. And so even if you only have like a half filled EXP wheel and you're like 100 experience away, then that's just like 8 slimes that you take down. That's really not too much time intensive as long as you're aware of it ahead of time. And that's the big thing. And then you can always save scum pickups. Like if you do Boulder Escape, you can just save scum before you check a pickup if your EXP is within the range. And then if you find experience, then boom, you just save scum back. And so you can always just keep yourself in range. Yeah.
Interesting. I actually never thought about that. Okay, well we'll continue on to more questions about game. Now my brain is like racing through all those. Okay, so game 1. Game 1 was ridiculous. What the heck was that seed? Where are the stupid water vein shards? I'm not gonna ask about like how you guys prioritize stuff because it's just like I don't know what is there left to check that is not Horu. What I do want to ask about was, have you practiced that laser dash in R3?
No, I didn't know that was possible. I I thought I remember Sigma saying, "Yo, there's this really hard Seaflame burn strat you can do to check it," and I tried it like once or twice. I was like, "That's not working. Maybe you can just charge dash through it." And I tried it. And it worked. I was like, well, all right, I'll take it.
I don't know about Seaflame Burn. I know Seaflame Blast is enough to get that, but if you can level Seaflame Blast in Rando, you have other problems, almost certainly.
I mean, yeah, I mean that late in the scene, right? I had the ability points to get up there because Spirit Light efficiency and just like me finding tons of ability cells. I think Dedew was like kind of starved on ability cells, and I wasn't. I was like, oh, maybe I can share some of mine with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Co-op new mode, shared experience pools.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well, for you guys, you're moving on to the finals of the tournament. Muffin, this is not an unfamiliar position for you in general. You were, of course, in the Randomizer tournament final in singles last year. Skill is unfortunately not able to repeat as a finalist this year, but what are you guys thinking about your chances and your opponents? You've got That Is Still Faster or Team Heck as your prospective opponents. What are you guys thinking? And we'll start with Muffin.
A lot of Dedew can speak for himself for sure, but I'm more focused on myself as a player and focused on our coordination and stuff. Like our 99% of our discussion is about our style and our approach and stuff like that. And then if we need sort of a benchmark, we'll go back and rewatch our matches and check out what the opponents did and consider various maneuvers and stuff like that. But most of it's just us trying to optimize our own play and theory craft our way through seeds and approaching the meta and establishing the meta even. And so I think that's going to be most of our focus. We have things that we want to work on communication-wise for the mid-game that we've been discussing over the past week. And we have plenty of time to throw in a lot of good practice seeds. And so we'll let that happen. And then when race day comes, we'll be focused on sticking to the plan and trying to execute and put on a good show. Yeah.
And to do?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like, I wasn't listening at the end because I got distracted, but that's how good we are listening to each other today.
Yeah, teamwork.
I mean, teamwork. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the finals, and yeah, we're gonna try to practice a bit more this week.
Yeah.
I don't have school next week, so that's going to be nice, and
oh shit,
I can spend my days play Ori.
Yeah. I guess kind of a nice thing too that I'm just gonna say as a side note is I had no intention of joining the doubles tourney whatsoever, and so my entire focus is pushing myself and trying to assist Dedew as much as possible to allow him to continue to compete. So I'm really thankful to have the opportunity to help him keep going because I knew he wanted to continue on in the tournament, and I'm just I'm absolutely beside myself that we were able to bring him to the finals. So just really excited to see what happens on race day.
Yeah, thanks Buffett for stepping in again.
Yeah, dude, my pleasure.
Well, I'm happy with the outcome of our broadcast here, as far as we've gotten some good enjoyment out of these two seeds, one being actually pretty nice and the other being, well, all the water vein shards were in Horu. How about you, Aiko?
I mean, we don't know that all the water vein shards were in Horu, but I'm also pretty happy. Looking forward to more Ori today, which we have a lot of.
Is that so? Well, when is our next race?
Our next race is at noon Eastern time. So in just 1 hour, we've got the match of Sigma versus Ronnie, games 1 and 2. And then after that, stay tuned because we're going to have the doubles match of Sigma and Raziel, also known as Team That Is Still Faster, against Team Heck, which is Shed and Oshi. You can actually see that as on the bracket that's on screen. And that's going to happen, and that's going to be the other semifinals doubles match. So the winner of that will move on to face Half the Bayette in the finals.
Indeed. So we're going to be getting some important outcomes for the tournament here coming up in the very near future. Sigma and Ronnie, two Titans going up against one another. And then, of course, the other semifinal here in the doubles. Definitely, you do not want to go anywhere. It's all, half of it is going to be on Speed Gaming 2. The other half of it will tentatively be on Speed Gaming 5. So make sure to stay tuned. Again, !Ori to find the schedule. But in the meantime, Aiko, thank you for joining on commentary. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Villagen. Thank you also to our Truck, Skullblocka, and Spark, and our restreamer for both of these games, Tara.
Indeed. And we will catch you guys in an hour here on Speed Gaming 2. Please come on by. In the meantime, GG again to Half the Baguette, GG to Skillless, who unfortunately will not be moving on. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.